Alright, so our learning objective today is understanding volume, and we're following on from looking at perimeter, area, surface area. So we're still talking about 3D objects. So we've got my can of baked beans, we've got my cube, and I've got my rectangular prism, but we're also going to have a look at a few other things today. So let's have a look to start with. Volume is the total amount of space. Amount of space a 3D shape occupies. So that means we are looking at pretty much 3D still, but last time we had 3D shapes we kind of just looked at the 2D surfaces on them. This time we're looking at how much 3D space something takes up, and I want to bring your mind back to these kind of things that you might have seen in primary school, and these are called MAB blocks, and we use these a lot because the MAB blocks indicate 1 cubic centimetre here. So this little thing here is 1 cubic centimetre. You can see it is 1 centimetre this way, 1 centimetre deep and 1 centimetre high. So this here is 10 cubic centimetres. So you have to start thinking 3D now. And we've got 10 by 10, so that's 100 cubic centimetres. So they start to add up really quickly, but even that's not a huge amount. This one here is quite big, and it is 10 by 10 by 10. So what's 10 by 10 by 10? 1,000. There's 1,000 cubic centimetres in that one. And volume has a really simple rule, and volume is the area of the base of the shape multiplied by its height. Now the base of the shape means lots of things though, because the base of a shape is going to look very different depending on what 3D shape it is. If I've got my can of baked beans and my box and all these other things, we have to think about the base as being we call it a cross section in fact. If I cut this box this way and I looked that way, I would see a square. And if I cut it every other place, I would still see a square. So the face or the shape or the base of this box is a square. If I had this box, if I cut it down this way and looked at it from here, I would see a rectangle. If I laid it down like this and I cut it like this and I looked at it from here, I would still see a rectangle. Everywhere I cut it, I would still see a rectangle. So the base of this one could be any of these rectangles. If this bottom side here is the base, then this would be the height. All right, it's hard to tell here. This is where we get tricky though, because if I stand my cylinder up and cut it straight down that way with a knife, if I looked at it from this side on, I would actually see a rectangle. But if I cut it here, a bit further along, and looked at it from here, it'd still be a rectangle, but it'd be a smaller rectangle. The only way I can cut this shape over and over and over again and get the same shape would be to go slice, 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 slice. Every time I looked at it this way, I would have the same size circle. So we have to think of the base as the face where the cross section, or the bit where we cut, is always the same shape, and size as well was important. So if I had a really dodgy drawing of a cube, it's a terrible cube, then it would be the square on the bottom. Okay, so it would be the same shape as this one here. If I had a long rectangular prism, then it would be the opposite side to this top face here. Okay, and the height would be this one. So it really does depend on what kind of shape you have. And if I give you this one, here's your classic Toblerone. What shape is the face? Where can I cut it over and over to get the same shape? And I would have to cut it like this over and over, in the same way the chocolate's set up, and every single time you would get the same triangle face there. Alright, so this time it would be the area of the triangle face multiplied by this height here, like as if you were standing it up. Okay?